I hate having to look at this camera in front of all of you guys and let you know, but you read the title correctly. I tried a food challenge at work and I failed at it. I failed horribly, actually. And it really sucks because I wanted this to be my legacy for this team. Because for all of you guys who are unaware, I work at a corporate facility and right now I'm an intern and I recently graduated high school, or recently graduated college. High school was like 4 years ago. And I go full time on Monday. And right now, I don't know what team I'm gonna end up a part of because there's some negotiation talks about me staying on the team that I'm on versus me going to the original team I was supposed to go to on Monday, which is completely different building and everything like that. And right now it's looking like that second one's probably what's gonna happen just because we started the negotiations too late or whatever, yada yada yada. But as a legacy, I wanted to leave my team with something that they could talk about and be like, no intern has ever done anything like this before. And I failed at it. And I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about it. I'm your host, Seb, and if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment down below what's a food challenge you guys are willing to try. Because one of them that's very popular in the office is a 12 donuts before 12 o'clock challenge. Honestly, for me, I feel like that one would get really gross just because I hate having a lot of sugar. I'm getting old now and like the taste of sugar just doesn't really hit me the same anymore. But the challenge that I ended up doing that I actually created was a 12 hot dogs in one shift challenge. And now I know some of you guys are out there listening and being like, how could that possibly be hard, Sebastian? Well, let me tell you, I thought it was going to be hard for myself. And I feel like the average person would think that that's honestly like a pretty all right challenge. But because all of my coworkers are being like, yeah, you'll knock that one out. Like it won't be that much of a legacy. I decided to spice it up, or I added a can of soda that I had to drink every 4 hot dogs. And I put together a whole document listing all the rules. That way everybody knew like what to expect, what the regulations were, and how I was going to approach this. And honestly, it ended up looking pretty all right because people were looking at it and they were like, making fun of it because they were like, I can't believe you wrote this. But then some of them were like, well, this doesn't make sense. Or maybe you should add this, add that. And like, oh, you thought this out. And yeah, everything was thought out, to the condiments, to the bun size, to the hot dog size, to even how the challenge starts. All of it was planned out. And I had a really great start this morning. Well, okay. I'll go ahead and talk about how the actual thing ended up going later. But the whole document was laid out, guys. And I really thought that this was going to be something that I could do. And I didn't think it was going to be easy, especially not once I added the soda to it. But I really thought I could do it. And I failed. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So let me set up the context for you guys a little bit. Basically, I wanted to leave my mark. Very clear. I already talked about that enough. And this is my last week. I already mentioned that earlier today. But typically in the workspace, there's a day called like a 980 where people will work 9-hour shifts Monday through Thursday, and Friday have a regular 8-hour day. That way, every 2 weeks, those extra 8 hours that they've worked Monday through Thursday over 2 weeks, they just have like a day off on the next Friday. And so for some people, that's like really helpful for them to like do the schedule, which is why I didn't do it tomorrow on my actual last day. I did it today on my pseudo last day, just because I wanted to have a lot of people see me. And, all of this is really just for big clout chasing. Cause me, like I got to make myself the life of the party. I got to let people know who I am and make myself, very well known. And so I know a little bit of ego, but that's okay. And so that's why I decided to do it today. And I spent some time putting together this document, putting together the rules, invited everybody who I thought might want to know about it to it. And people were actually rooting for me. But my plan going into this was I had to be smart about it, I didn't have a lot of like physical preparation to it, but I did do a lot of like mental preparation in terms of like how I was going to space it out and what I was going to do. And the original strategy was going to be this. I was going to go in with a breakfast bowl with eggs and hot dogs, and I was going to have some sliced bread with it. And then I was going to be able to get 4 hot dogs out for breakfast, and then I had the rest of the day to eat 8 more hot dogs, right? Very simple, very straightforward. And it's important to note that for every hot dog I had to also eat another piece of bread with it. And I laid in the regulation that it had to be a slice of bread, like a white loaf or something, or it could be an actual hot dog bun itself. I chose for my 4 breakfast ones to just have like 4 slices of white bread, and then I was going to have 8 hot dog buns with the rest of the 8 hot dogs. And I got there that morning, and I went and found somebody to be my witness to show that I had all of the ingredients there, my 12 hot dogs and my 12 bread, and then I started my challenge. And let me tell you guys, that breakfast entry was a slosh. I actually had to power through it. And in the middle of eating that breakfast one, I was starting to get some serious doubt in my head. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this because this is disgusting. And I could not imagine eating 8 more of those hot dogs. And I don't know why. I think it's honestly just because I don't eat breakfast in the mornings most of the time, so I just gotten used to like not eating that early, and I think that might have honestly thrown off my rhythm. I probably should have had some breakfast this week just to get myself used to consuming something early, but that it did not sit well with my stomach. Let me tell you guys that. And so it took me 30 minutes to get through my breakfast as I'm typing away on my computer, One hand's typing, another hand just eating. And I finally get done with my hot dogs and I was drinking my soda with it. And I felt pretty awful. I can't lie. For the next 2 hours, I was just sitting in pain and misery. And my coworker pulled up next to me and I mean, he could probably tell that I looked horrible. Like I was like, oh, working along. But you know what? I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let that shock me because I went out for a little walk and it sucked because it was raining. But luckily, one of my coworkers brought an umbrella. And so the umbrella came in super clutch. I went for a nice walk outside, got to clear up some of those calories, get the body moving a little bit. And when I came back, I was like, okay, like we can do this. And I waited a few more hours until it was like 12:30. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to power 6 hot dogs. Because if I can power 6 for lunchtime, then before I leave, I can have 2 more. Finish the challenge, easy peasy. That didn't happen like that because I ended up trying to eat 6 hot dogs and I got through 4.5. And it was pretty bad, guys. I can't lie. Because I thought maybe, if I could at least get through 5, then 3 would be okay. I could definitely finish that. And the reason I shake my head is because the biggest thing that actually inhibited me in this challenge that I'm starting to look back on is the soda. Because the one thing I remembered during lunchtime at least was that I didn't really feel full. Like I felt like I could have had more hot dogs, but the problem was that I felt like there was a lot of space being taken up, a lot of volume. And looking back at the day, this might be a little bit of a TMI. So if you get queasy, close your ears for like 10 seconds. But I didn't fart and I didn't burp throughout the whole day. And so I just had all of that gas cooking inside of my belly. And honestly, it made me feel pretty sick. And I think that's what I was feeling throughout the whole day. And the fact that I started the day off with the 12-ounce can of Dr. Pepper and it just never left my body. And then I added another 12-ounce can later, plus another 4.5 hot dogs. I think it cooked me, bro. And I was starting to have some hope towards the end of it because I went out for another walk and then we got back and I'm like, okay, I got 40 minutes left in my shift. Like I can spend like 10 minutes prepping. And then for the last 30 minutes, like I'll dig in, I'll really try and focus up for these last hot dogs. And as I was eating that last half of my hot dog that I left from earlier, I was thinking to myself about how much I hated it, how miserable it felt. And I I remember back to one of my coworkers who before he left to go to a different team, I was telling him that I wanted to do this thing to leave my mark in the group. And when I told him about how stupid of an idea this was, and I was like, I want to eat 12 hot dogs in a shift, he laughed and he said, you don't have to do that. And obviously he was joking because he was saying like, it sounded like a bad idea. It sounded like I was going to be in a lot of pain. But all I could think about while I was eating my 9th hot dog was him saying that over and over in my head. And I realized for a moment that he was right. I didn't have to eat any more hot dogs ever. Like, I mean, definitely not like in the future, but especially in that moment, I didn't have to eat any more hot dogs. And I looked down at like the last bite of this 9th hot dog that I had in my hand. And I said, I feel disgusting. I want to go home. I'm done, bro. And so that's exactly what happened. I put the hot dog down. I typed in my group chat. I said, guys, I don't think I'm going to finish this. I'm quitting the challenge now. I threw away my plate with 3 hot dogs and 3 buns on it. And I said, deuces. And I went home for the day. And I've never felt happier doing anything in my life before because not having to worry about eating another hot dog, let me tell you guys, it was a huge, huge relief because I felt horrible. And I do not recommend this challenge to anybody else. And for all of you like fat chuds, because I know I have some of my friends that looked at me and were like, oh, this is so easy. I could eat like 6 hot dogs in a sitting just casually, like yada, yada, yada. Like, you know what? Screw all of you guys. I'm not built like that. I'm just a regular average dude with a regular average appetite. And honestly, for the amount of hot dogs that I ended up eating for the day, like I feel really good about that. Because 9 hot dogs plus 2 soda cans is no easy feat, let me tell you guys. Especially in such a condensed manner. Because I ended up having them all literally in an 8-hour time range. Less than that, but we'll round up a little bit just for the sake of it. And man, guys, let me tell you, it was hard. It was hard. But the cool part about it is that I got to try something. And the best part is that I had a little bit of fun in the workspace, because I got a lot of people talking about it. I got a little bit of clout. And hopefully somebody else follows in my footsteps someday. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to get inspired from this story and I want to do something stupid like that on my own, right? But the part that really sucks about all of this is the fact that there's this donut constitution that we have at my corporation. And in the donut constitution, it basically finds different ways for why people should bring in donuts to the office. And one of them is an act of stupidity. And if you do something stupid and it's voted on by a council of elders, which is just like older people that don't do stupid stuff, then you have to bring in donuts. And what I told my friends was that if I finish the challenge and I don't throw up, then it can't be considered an act of stupidity because it was easy and basically I just ate a lot of food for the day, right? But I said if I don't complete it or if I throw up at any point, then it is an act of stupidity because it was like I was in pain and misery and I accomplished nothing. And that's exactly what ended up happening. And while they haven't taken a vote on it yet, I'm going to be a man of my word and I'm going to go ahead and bring donuts to celebrate my failure tomorrow. And I wish I was going to bring in celebration donuts, but you know what? I'm not even going to stress about it because I made it further than anybody has ever had, We've had, what was his name? Neil Armstrong land on the moon, take the first steps out there. We've had this new Apollo crew or whatever crew, the new spaceship crew that went around the moon. They orbited that, We had Christopher Columbus sail the ocean blue. You know what? Actually, fuck that guy. We had Ferdinand Magellan sail the ocean blue. And, he found a lot of shit. And then there's me over here trying to do a 12 hot dogs in one shift challenge at work. And you know what? All three of us are explorers of different imaginations of the human mind. And for two of them, they found a lot more success than I did. And, I wish I could sit here in front of you guys and tell you guys, look at me, I completed this challenge. But the truth is that I didn't. And you know what? I'm okay with that. Because at the end of the day, I can still say that I tried it. And it's funny thinking about how much pain I was in while everybody was watching me do this. And hopefully it's something that they talk to future people about. And hopefully they get inspired to do something fun and creative and maybe a little bit of lack of thought too. But that's enough rambling about me today, guys. I mean, if you guys are inspired to do your own story, your own event, I would, give you guys a pat on the back and say, good luck, you got this. But for the love of God, if you have a challenge and you think it's going to be hard and people tell you that it's going to be easy, do not, and I repeat, do not add soda to the equation because I still have yet to burp or fart all day today. And I only want to eat like fruits for the rest of the day, basically, because I can't eat any more meat, bro. And I do not want to look at grain anymore. But other than that, guys, I hope you all are taking care of yourselves and I hope you guys enjoyed my story. Thank you for listening. Have a good one.